Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm a recovering drug addict. What I got clean from at the end was I was using heroin up until 2010. 2009, excuse me. And but for the years prior to that, I was always turning to substances for my confidence and for my self-esteem and to feel good and to feel right. Definitely more of a self-medicating type of thing. And it was a problem. I definitely had a problem. And so when I first got clean in 2009, the first year, it was just really intense meetings all the time. NA meeting, I chose to go to NA. Sometimes they helped a lot, and sometimes they didn't. But just being there, I knew that was an hour of my day that I wasn't going to have an obsession to go and use.
Right.
And on top of that, I did do intense outpatient programs. I'm a huge advocate for that. And I know we mentioned like half hour, 45 minutes ago, everyone's different. I have good friends. One of my best friends, who's a recovering heroin addict, who didn't do intense programs. He kind of went cold turkey, and he lives a sober life, and he lives a good life. Like he's not he does his own thing, and he's a good person. But I think that's an exception. I think that's not everyone's case. Mm-hmm. So I needed those groups, and I needed to be held accountable. And so for about a year, I did outpatient programs, and I even took. I was at Chico State University when all this was happening, so I took a semester off from there. I still went to college in Ventura for that semester. But during that time, I was doing all of my programs, and I moved back up to Chico and continued to go to meetings whenever I could and try to hold myself accountable and try to be honest and practice the principles that I learned. And you can, it's so easy to concentrate on the differences that I would have with people in these rooms, in support groups. Like, they're not like me at all. Like, we're so different lifestyles, different everything. And therefore it'd be hard to really listen to what they're saying, but I was doing it wrong. I had to find the common ground and look at the similarities, focus on those similarities, because a lot of our stories were exactly the same. And I still will go to meetings here and there whenever I can.
Really?
It was cool.
Why is that?
They center me. I realized much more that even after I've got, let's see, it's February. Next month I'm gonna have 9 years clean from substance and alcohol, and so the obsession, I appreciate that, and the obsession has been lifted. I don't want to use anymore. I don't wake up with these insane urges to use, but it's just I am a believer that addiction is a disease, and I have a very addictive personality. I'll treat many different things, sometimes food, like I would drug. It's like I crave it and I have to get it and it's like that's just the way my mind works. It's feel crazy sometimes in that regard. So I realized that addiction, a lot of the work came after I was clean. I couldn't work on what was causing me to use until I was totally clean. And so now going to meetings and just doing stuff like this helps to recenter me and refocus and find what truly is valuable, and realize none of this would be possible for me if I didn't pursue a path of sobriety. And it reminds me, even when that little voice sometimes says, you could probably have a beer here or there, maybe in a pub, and I was just in England, and like they have a lot of beer that looks really good.
Sure.
And not for a second did I think I was going to drink it, but there's that little voice that sometimes like, it'd be nice to, it's like a one-time thing, special occasion, but no, I can't, that's not right. And whenever that little voice comes in my head, it means that I have to get refocused. I have to get recentered and realize that could be the addiction talking, because of course it wants me to do that. It wants to drag me down again. I will see it as its own entity. And so it doesn't just harness itself in the form of using drugs. It harnesses itself in lowering your self-esteem and confidence. And so going to those meetings and those groups helps me see where I have been, where I can still go, and I want to give back, because another one of my favorite things they would say is the only way to continue to keep what I have is by giving it away. And it's such a intense theme and way to think about things, but it's so true. Talking about it and being able to help helps me in return.